Welcome to Easy Style with Sammy. I'm your host, Sammy Bedell Mulhern. Each episode, I invite a friend, family member, colleague, or just someone I've met on this journey called life to come and share their personal style and approach to business, parenting, life, and everything in between. You'll hear motivational and inspirational stories that will help you refine and build your own personal style. Remember, style is easy when it comes from within. Welcome to episode 2 of Easy Style with Sammy. I am so excited to have my friend Lisa Duck on the podcast today. Lisa, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is super exciting.
Yeah, so Lisa and I are both in direct sales. We both met through a direct sales mastermind. And this is one of the things that I love about it because we would never have ever met in real life. You're in Canada. And I'm Canada adjacent. I mean, depending on where you live in Minnesota, you're in Canada, but maybe you don't want to claim us. But we would have never met if it wasn't for direct sales. And so I'm so excited to have you on and for you to kind of share a little bit about your story and your style with food and business and kind of how you found all this amazing success and joy in your business. So thanks for being here.
Awesome. Super excited to share with your listeners.
So why don't we start? Why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit and talk a little bit about, why direct sales and why specifically Epicure and food that gets you so excited in running your business.
Awesome. So like Sammy said, my name is Lisa Duck, and I can't believe it, but I have been in direct sales for almost 17 years.
Wow.
I started direct sales when my youngest was just 4 months old. So it was a way for me to earn a little extra income. I was babysitting and stuff happened and he got sick from one of the kids and it wasn't a good thing. And I just couldn't go back to the babysitting. So I had to find a way to be able to stay home with my kids and still bring in some income into the family. Mm-hmm. So direct sales just seemed to fit, all the things I needed. But the funny thing is, I am not your typical direct seller. I am not the extrovert that would be like talking to everyone at the party. I am the person who is sitting in the corner, being very quiet. So direct sales wasn't really a natural option to me. However, I had someone who came and offered me, I still remember it, pampering hand session. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Let's check this out. So she came and I'm very thankful that she offered me the business opportunity. So once I looked at it, I'm very detail focused. I look at everything, like how much money I can make, where can I get it? And I decided to jump in. I said, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work, but what's the best that can happen? That it's what I'm looking for. So to make a long story short, I jumped in, I found that company. I stayed with that company for about 4 years. And then I discovered Epicure. And I've been with Epicure ever since. So it's kind of exciting.
So it is exciting. And 17 years is a long time. I don't think my marketing business is the longest that I've ever done anything. And that's 6 years. So I'm impressed with 17 years for anybody in any industry. That's amazing. But when you found Epicure, what was it about that company or just even what you were going to be selling that kind of felt like a better fit for you?
Well, I actually found Epicure when I was at an event doing my other company. Mm-hmm. And I sat there and looking at their products, looking at their catalog, and looking at how the people engaged with their products. Mm-hmm. The people, they were automatically drawn to it. It was great tasting food, and the lady had samples there. And it was just something that I went home researching because even though I believed 100% in the product I was selling, it just wasn't as easy for me to promote as I felt that Epicure would be. So,
yeah. And so for those this isn't like a commercial and an ad for Epicure, but for those, because it's newer in the US. So for those that don't know what it is, why don't you give kind of your 30-second elevator pitch?
Oh yeah, basically, Epicure is a company that has products that help you put meals on the table from raw to ready in 20 minutes or less. Our products are gluten-free, nut-free, low sodium, low sugar, so just basically a lot healthier than your store-bought. So in a nutshell, it's like a home-cooked meal without actually making things directly from scratch.
Yes, and we are big fans in our household here as well. And Lisa's the one who introduced me to it, and I am obsessed. But there are so many different ways to approach food. There's so many different meal solutions out there. Like everybody's talking about something different. So like, how have you kind of taken your own style and approach? Because you mentioned you are a little bit different with how you approach direct sales, and every now I'm thinking Color Street, but every consultant in your company can kind of approach it a little bit differently. So how have you kind of blended your own style and approach to direct sales with your own style and approach to food to kind of build the successful business?
So ironically, and most people don't believe me, but I truly hate to cook. They think that you're an Epicure consultant, you need to love to cook. No, I hate to cook, and that's why I love Epicure. It makes things so easy. I don't like going to prepackaged box foods because I don't like the taste and the flavor that comes from them. I don't like what's in them. And Epicure just allows me to make my meals quick and easy, and they still taste great, and they're good for us. So that's what I like, is the ease of it. And that's what I love sharing with my customers, is the fact that, most people are time starved and they don't have 2 hours to make an elaborate meal, but you can make a takeout ready meal in your home in 20 minutes or less. So that's why I love Epicure.
And so the thing that I love too about you is we've had several conversations about like how we show up on social media, and like your business is completely virtual. Like you do very minimal in-person stuff, if any at all, which I love because I'm the same way. But like getting new customers, building your business, growing, like you have really gone to sharing your way of cooking and way of using the product through Reels, which I have avoided with a 10-foot pole. I don't know why it terrifies me, but it does. And you've mentioned you're introverted. So how did that confidence come about to like start sharing what you do in that way and just taking that leap?
Well, I think it's funny because I love all things tech. So it's no surprise that I love doing everything virtually. But what I decided with the Reels, I'm like, as long as my face wasn't in the reel, like as long as I wasn't dancing around like you see these other people doing, I'm okay with that. I won't lie. It did take me a few tries, many tries actually, to do my first voiceover on my Reels, because that's what I typically do. I just do videos of me cooking and little snapshots and everything, and then I piece it together with InShot and do all that jazz, and then I speed it up. And then I just do a voiceover just to sort of explain what's happening in the Reels. So it did take me a couple tries to get that comfort level of speaking on the camera. But then you know what? I think it was my very first Reel that I put out there. It went to like 385,000 views. And I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy.
Did that make you more excited to make more, or did it make you more nervous? Because like, kind of the first time you do it, you're like, nobody's really going to watch this. Who cares? And then you put it out and you see a lot of people watching it. Like, how did that feel?
Yeah, it was definitely, a weird situation, because exactly, it's like, oh my God, now I have these eyes on me. Am I going to be able to offer that same experience in my next Reel? So I just kept doing it. Did I hit 385 views again? No, but I did have a couple that were up over or almost 200, and some bomb and they're like 2,000, but that's okay, because what's happened in the long term is that I've been able to grow my audience, which is awesome, grow my VIP group, and grow the awareness for Epicure, because like you said, the company is so new in the US. Now, Canada, we're 25 years old, but a lot of people just don't know about us. So just bringing that awareness is really helping my business grow. And I love that I could do it coast to coast in both countries.
So how do you come up with ideas for your reels, and how would you say like maybe you've evolved from like when you first started doing them until now? Like, is it because you basically make the meal on the video and then do the voiceover talking about what you're doing, right? Has any of that changed?
No, not really, because I mean, I typically cook at least 2 meals a day. So I don't have a lack of content. So it's just a matter of, let's be honest, like if my kitchen is clean enough to do the video, right, and I don't have to do a lot of prep to set up the camera, then I just take videos of what I'm doing. Or I'll set out a day, like if I'm doing some baking, I'll make sure that everything is clean and appropriate to do my reels. And then I just shoot off about 3 or 4 reels, and then I just save them on my camera roll. And then when I get time, that's when I edit them and I put them together. I usually drop it into Instagram to get my type over on that stuff, like all the stuff that I'm putting on my reels, any text that I put on. And then I save that to my camera roll, and I use it on Instagram. I use it on Facebook, TikTok, and Pinterest. So I use it all over the place by making that one reel. So it's pretty easy.
I love what you said in that you're not, because I think a lot of times we think, well, if we're going to be generating content and we're going to be like adding all these things in, then we have to like make this extra space and time in our day and week to do that. But you're saying I just do it when I'm doing my normal day-to-day life and save it for later. So I love that because it takes that pressure off of, okay, now I think that's my issue with reels. I have to sit down, consciously think about the content that I'm going to create, sit down, create that content. But if we can build it into just the way that our day flows and then let go of the once I film it, I must use it like immediately, I think that's brilliant. So you can kind of ebb and flow with, okay, well, I just posted a dessert, so now I need to post a main, or I need to post a side, or I need to post a dip. You can kind of maneuver that content, but you've already got it ready to go. Exactly.
I try to make it easy, because if it's too hard, it doesn't get done.
Right. That is solid advice. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more before we wrap this up, just on like, touching base a little bit more on like your style and approach to direct sales. Because you started this by saying you're not a typical direct seller. So if somebody is like in their business and they're frustrated because they have to do parties and do all of this stuff, which you do still party, but like if they're frustrated with the in-person and they want to do more virtual, or if it's somebody who's like, direct sales is not for me because I don't want to go into the business doing all of that, like what kind of advice would you give them about how they can build the business the way they want?
The biggest thing that I would say is that my approach to direct sales is being of service to someone. So I never think about the end sale. What I'm doing is I'm thinking about how I can solve problems for people. And I make that offer, share with them, how it would value them in their lifestyle or in their home, putting easy meals on their table for their family that's not from a box. And most people like that. And I mean, you could apply that to almost any other direct sales company too. But as long as you come from a service-based side, then you're not thinking about you, and it's easy to share with people what you have to offer. So that's the biggest thing, is just take you out of the scenario.
That is why, my friends, we are friends, because we have the same approach to our businesses. And where like that exact statement is kind of exactly where this podcast idea came from, and like sharing people's stories to help you all build what you want in whatever area in your life. And I love that so much. Okay, so we have some rapid fire questions to wrap this up. Are you ready for them?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So where is your go-to place if you're looking for additional training or personal development?
I love YouTube. I consume everything YouTube. And I ironically, I had a meeting or a workshop with my team last night, and we were talking about goal setting. And one thing that I stressed with them, I'm like, quickly, just go to YouTube and look. It doesn't matter what direct sales company is. Direct sales is direct sales. Use that information and tweak it to work with your business. So YouTube is awesome.
I love that. Okay. And are you an introvert or an extrovert? You already answered this.
Definitely. But I mean, definitely an introvert in public. Like if you and I were sitting face to face, I would probably be a little bit different. But for some reason, this screen just like creates that little bit of extra confidence for me. So I would say a little bit more on the extroverted side virtually. It's kind of weird.
We are the same. No, I agree with you 100% on that. What is one thing that is on your goal list for the upcoming year, either personal or professional?
I want to expand my brand and do a little bit more like digital products and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have 17 years experience in direct sales. I know the things that other direct sellers are looking for. So I want to actually be able to offer them digital products that will help them grow their businesses.
I love that. What is one piece of advice that you've gotten from someone that has stuck with you?
Just do it. Just do it. Like if you fail, you fail. But if you succeed, so many great things can happen.
Yes. Don't fear the failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And finally, what is one non-negotiable that you have in your life?
This might seem funny, but it's like, I do not want to work for someone else. So it's non-negotiable. I will not go back to work and build someone else's empire. So I will do everything in my power to succeed in my own business, my own brand.
That's so powerful. And, just goes back to for all of us, why do we do the things we do if you're not really rooted in that? That's a really big, powerful why. I love that. Well, Lisa, if people want to check out your reels, if they want to learn more about you, they want to learn more about Epicure, how do they do that?
Basically, you can find me anywhere on the internet under Spice It Up with Lisa Duck.
I love it. And she shares so many amazing recipes and great food ideas. So I highly recommend checking her out. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Sammy.
How awesome was that? Are you so inspired by Lisa to think about how you want to show up online, to get out there and create something new? Whether you're in direct sales or not, it doesn't really matter. It's more about how do you show up and do the things that you really want to do and get rid of the stuff that you don't. If you want to know more about the things mentioned in this episode, head on over to easystylewithsammy.com/2. And I can't wait to hear all your feedback. And if you tried Epicure, share your recipes with me. I love it and would love to hear some of the things that you've been trying. As always, please make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen. It just helps us get in front of a lot more people with the lovely algorithms on Apple Podcasts and things of that nature. But I so appreciate you joining me for these first few episodes of Easy Style with Sammy, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.